It's Powerback time on the Gutsy Podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. You've got a 15-minute window between meetings, and your brain sees an opportunity that it cannot pass up. I can respond to a couple of emails. And while I'm in there, there's some content that I've been wanting to write, and oops, squirrel, I wanted to open up TikTok, and now I got lost in that black hole. Oh, but there's this project that I've been wanting to work on, so I should probably start that. And you know what? The load of laundry needs switched around, and I should probably eat, so I'm going to let this 3-day-old sandwich hang out the corner of my mouth as I try to do it all. We all have these pockets of time in between things, and your habits, the way that you fill that time or don't, it's feeding your body information. And when you're cramming shit in between things, you're signaling to your brain that, hey, I need you to stay on, I need you to stay active, and I need you to do shit, even in the still moments. On today's Powerback episode, you're going to learn how to teach your nervous system how to chill out so that you can relax in those in-between moments instead. Sometimes I think we look at our brain and our body as two separate entities, but the way that they are connected, yes, physically, obviously, but the way that they communicate, one feeds the other one back, and there is this continual loop of information. So when the body gets freaked out, it freaks out the mind. When the mind is racing, then the body wants to follow. And if we're not doing anything to break that loop, we're going to keep doing the same stuff. I don't know about you, but filling those gaps in between things has been just like this second nature. Like, oh yeah, I have this chunk of time. Let me see how much I could fit in here. And then when it's actually time to chill out, relax, be at home, watch a movie, hang out with friends, going to drink coffee with my husband, the body is like, hey, this is downtime. Why aren't we doing a bunch of shit? And then you get anxious and your thoughts start racing, and then you feel like you want to rush through things and you're not present in the moment. And it's just not good. It's not a good feeling. It doesn't really actually help anything. And it's feeding this narrative that I've got to do more. I've got to be more, to be seen, to be productive, to get ahead, to get the things that I want. I also want to acknowledge that all of our brains work in their own way. And a lot of what we're talking about today absolutely is rooted in habits, things that you have learned, that you've done over and over again, that now just is your new norm. But sometimes that's also fueled by the way that your brain functions. My husband, for instance, very neurotypical. He rarely gets into this like cramming things in between because his brain works in a very kind of calculated way. My brain, however, my beautiful bouncy brain that I like to reference it as, can hold 10 different conversations while humming 3 different songs while creating a whole brand new something all at the same time. You know what I mean? And so understanding how your brain works, that's half of it. The other half is getting the support, the tools, the resources that you need to use your time and your energy to the best of your ability. The goal here is to work with your brain, not against it, to give it the support that it needs and also kind of give it the direction. My bouncy brain does a lot better when there's clarity, when there's direction, and when I can focus. That, my friend, is what we're going to do today. Okay. So, I shared in the beginning this story around, you've got this kind of gap of time, whether it's between meetings, maybe you've dropped off one kid and you're waiting to go pick up another. Maybe you went to an appointment and they're running 15 minutes behind. You've got this space, right? Whatever the situation is, what I'm referencing is this pocket of time, the space between the things where there's not really enough time to get into anything new, but just sitting is really uncomfortable. It feels like, what do I do with this time in between my things, my commitments? What tends to happen is we're like, ooh, 15 minutes. You wouldn't believe what I can fucking do with 15 minutes. And you know something? Every once in a while, it's okay. Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to get in, you got to lock in, you got to knock out some stuff. I'm all about that. Because sometimes that's just the season that we're in. You know what I mean? Like that's what needs to be done, and therefore we get it done. Where it becomes a problem is when that becomes your new norm, when that is the standard, when that is your go-to. I have a gap of time. I've got space. I have white space. I am going to fit as much as humanly possible in here. When that's the natural go-to, when that's your always, you're training your body to always be on, to be alert, to say, hey, when there is downtime, we have to fill it. And then you wonder when you're sitting on the couch to watch your favorite show or watch a movie on the weekend, you've slowed down. And at this point, you've taught your body that, hey, when we slow down, we have to find things to fill that time. And so now there's this internal battle between your mind and your body where you're like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm not wanting to do anything. I don't need to do something. But your body's like, excuse me, you've taught me that we have to. Or vice versa, your body is chilling out, your body is starting to relax, but your brain ramps up and is like, what are you doing? You're wasting time. You could be getting so many more things done. There's this constant battle between your body and your brain. Whether one is saying the good or the bad, it doesn't matter. There is conflict. And the conflict comes from the repetitious action of filling the time. Training your brain and your body to know that when I have downtime, when I have white space, when I am in the in-between, I have to do something. It believes that to be true because we've taught it that. So anything that goes against that now, aka sitting in the silence, hanging out outside, being present with your friends or your family, now your body and your brain are hooking up and saying, hey, this isn't cool. This is a threat. We are not safe. This is not what we do. Even though it's probably very much what you would like to be doing. Your nervous system is out of whack, okay? And so the goal here is to retrain the brain. We have to replace it. Because until you teach your body and your brain that there is another way, it's going to continue to see your stillness as a threat. I think it's also really important to understand, why are we filling this time in the first place? Why are we cramming stuff in? It might be you have a bouncy brain too. I get that. My brain naturally wants to go to that. But if we expand that out even further, it's probably tied to something. Maybe it's a sense of productivity where you have to prove yourself. You are chasing something. You're saying, I have worthiness because look at all the things that I can do. My identity is wrapped up in how much I can get done. And when I'm not busy, when I'm not doing things, that I'm not worthy, which means things aren't working, which means it's falling apart. Sound familiar? Sometimes we have to back it up for a second to see that, hey, my entire identity is wrapped up in my ability to get things done. And by retraining my brain and body, I'm actually taking on a new identity, a new belief system. That rest is just as, if not more productive than doing a bunch of shit. Sometimes it's our overcommitment. Maybe you've taken on too much stuff. You've said yes far too many times. Maybe you've ignored your intuition. You've said yes to the things that you knew in that moment that you should have said no to. Or maybe it's the weight of the responsibilities that you currently have. What are you carrying right now? So this is an invitation to look at, what have I committed to? Where did I ignore myself? What is currently on my plate that I can let go of, that I can say no to, that I can decline, that I can offload or delegate to somebody? This in of itself is a training of your body to say, hey, I'm building this muscle where we're going to start getting a little bit more used to pushing back. I'm not going to be the yes woman that everybody knows me to be. I've got to start protecting my peace. And that starts with me making decisions like this. Sometimes this stuff is rooted in survival. Maybe this is what you've always known. You're the one that keeps things afloat. You're the one that keeps things moving. You're the one that everyone has always relied on. And if you stop, does everything stop? This is an invitation to say, where am I not receiving? Where have I taken on the sole responsibility? Where can I allow people into my world to support me more? I wasn't meant to carry the world on my shoulders, but I have been. But now, moving forward, I'm choosing to share that weight. I would highly encourage that you spend some time journaling or doing a little introspective work on why you feel the need or the responsibility to fill every ounce of your time. If you understand the why, you understand the root cause that's feeding this, you can see it coming a mile away. You can start to change that belief system. And when you change the belief system, you can start to change the habits and the actions that support it. Because ultimately, that's what's happened here. You believed something long enough and took actions that supported that long enough that now it's become your new normal. It's become your go-to. And while I know it's annoying and it sucks, you also have the opportunity to change that. This is the work. You always hear people talk about the work. The work is in noticing your old habits, getting very clear about what you want instead, choosing what you want, and taking an action that supports it. You're literally rewiring your brain when you do this. Your brain truly actually wants you to feel safe and in control. It just only knows the context in which it's been given. So when your brain is saying, hey, I would love to sit on my porch in the morning and have my cup of coffee and leave my phone inside and maybe I want to read a book, is why when you sit down to do that, your body's freaking the fuck out. It doesn't know that you're not being chased by a bear or defending your dissertation. It truly believes that your stillness is a threat. And so what does it do? It scans. It scans for things to do. It scans for ways to get you into safety. Your nervous system at this point is on high alert because you've got that internal battle happening. It makes it impossible to sit in that silence or enjoy that stillness or be present in those moments. And it's why your thoughts and your anxiety ramp up when you try to do these things. Good news is you've trained it once, you can train it again. And if you lean into this, this is not a one-time fix, okay? Sorry to tell you this. It's not a one and done deal. This is over and over and over again. We've got to create a new groove, a new familiarity in our brain to teach our brain and our body that there is a different option. It needs to know that your stillness is actually productive. It's healthy. It helps us feel good, which then in turn lets our body relax, which tells your nervous system that we can release, we can let go, we can be here in this moment and enjoy this. Now, the important thing to know here is it needs an alternative to replace it with. So if you go from doing busy work in between, I'm going to go with this 15 minutes, right? This liminal space between time. If you are so used to cramming stuff in there and then you go to just sit and stare at the wall for 15 minutes, you're going to feel like crap. Your brain needs something to replace the habit with. Now, this isn't replacing it with more things to do. It's about being intentional. I'm going to dig into that more here in just a second. The goal here is we're giving it proof of concept. We're showing our brain and our body that there's another way, that it can let down, that it can be present, that it can be still and feel good about that. Up until this point, it's only known one path. We are now going to introduce a new path to it. So how do we do this? Okay, first and foremost, there's 3 steps, okay? First and foremost, we've got to acknowledge the pockets of time. Acknowledge those in-between moments, between meetings, between picking up kids, between appointments, that space between I'm finished with work, but I'm not ready to start dinner yet, right? Like, just start to acknowledge those pockets of time. Notice when that urge to do more, to fill time, to check things off, start to notice them. If we don't notice that time, you're going to be on autopilot. The second piece is to choose how you want to spend that time. Remember, I said we have to replace it. If you want to just sit and stare into the abyss and raw dog it, have at it. But the brain does really well when we give it steps, when we give it something to latch onto, to say, hey, I know we used to do this. We're going to try that instead. Being on autopilot and just doing what you typically know and do, it just fills the time and it keeps it going. Whereas choosing is being intentional. And when you're intentional, you protect the time instead. Autopilot fills it, intention protects it. So what do you want to do instead? What would feel good for you? When I first started to do this, my brain is not one to just sit and stare. So I needed an activity that was low stress, that didn't require any critical thinking. It kept me occupied, but it didn't make me busy. And for me, it was cross-stitching. I used to do this back in high school. Literal cross-stitching. I started with this unicorn. And I would just get that out and show my body that, hey, we can actually just chill out. We can do an activity that's for fun, that has no direct outcome tied to anything. It also helped direct my brain so I wasn't overthinking things and I wasn't getting crazy about stuff. It was just like, even when I did start to think or my brain started to get loud, I'm like, hey, it's cool. Like, we're just going to do this for a few minutes. But I had to intentionally choose something to replace all that busy work with. So how do you want to use this time instead? Maybe it's a craft or an activity. Maybe it's a word puzzle. Maybe it's drinking coffee. This is a great time for journaling or practicing meditation. Like, whatever you want it to be, it gets to be. But this activity, this transitional activity as you're retraining your brain and your body, it's not tied to an outcome. It's not tied to productivity. I would like to strongly urge that it does not involve technology. This is truly your chance to say, I'm going to start enjoying things differently. If you don't intentionally choose what you're going to replace it with, you will find busy things to do, period. Because your brain is going to scan for more things to do and fill the time with. Third is redirecting yourself back. When you go from doing a million things to one or two things, it's going to feel off. Your brain is going to fight you. Okay. I'm not saying that you're going to make this shift or start to introduce this into your life and it's just going to be all peachy keen. You're going to fight yourself. This is your opportunity to remind yourself that you are safe, that this is good for you, that you are calming your nervous system down, even though in the moment it's probably not going to feel like it for a hot minute. We are redirecting your thoughts and your feelings back to, this is good. I'm taking care of myself. I'm prioritizing myself. You can get a good mantra or saying in here if you want to. Breathing exercises are a great way to come back into your body. I'm also a big fan of talking to myself out loud. It just diffuses the bigness that my brain wants to make it, and it just brings me back into the present moment. When I was starting to cross stitch, it was a lot of, it's okay to cross stitch. I'm allowed to sit here. This is going to help me feel better. And I know it might feel silly for a minute. You might feel like you're talking to a toddler, but that's what our brains need. It needs to know that it has your support. It needs that introduction to know that this is safe. I'm allowed to do this. I'm a grown ass woman now. I get to take care of myself in the way that I've always needed to be. And as you do this, as you work through that very gritty beginning portion of this, you're going to start to notice that you're able to relax. Your nervous system is going to chill the fuck out. You'll start to experience what it feels like to actually have some downtime. To have white space in your life is a gift. It's a gift that you get to give yourself. You'll begin to notice that this shift that was once hard and you had to really think about and put a lot of effort and focus onto, now you don't really think about it as much. In fact, you kind of look forward to this time because it's for you. And you know what it feels like to feel good. You know what it feels like to feel your breath coming in your body and come out of it. You remember what it feels like to sit outside and look at the clouds and see what kind of shapes you can find. You remember what it feels like to be completely, fully present in the room with your friends or your spouse or your kids and laughing all the way down to your core. You remember that outside of this amazing business that you're creating, that you have a whole ass life too. It's the safety. It's the security. It's the familiarity now because you've shown yourself what's possible. And that old belief system that used to run the show, you've taken control back. Actually, dare I say, you've taken your power back. Give this a go, my friend. Notice those spaces. Notice when you are trying to and feel called to cram 8,000 things into one little nook and cranny. I hope in that space, the next time you notice it, that I pop in your head and you're quickly reminded that you have the choice to make a difference. These are the types of skills that we practice inside the Gutsy Collective. This is a space for women that are going for it. They are ready to make a change in their life or their business. They're ready to make those gutsy moves, but we're prepping for it. We're building confidence. We're getting clarity. We're learning how to prioritize ourselves again, maybe for the first time ever. So if you're like, I could really use a space that helps me work out this messy middle. I'm tired of doing this shit alone. And I'm ready to make some moves. I could just use some guidance and support to know where to focus my time and my energy. Friend, I would invite you to join the Gutsy Collective. Your first 30 days, on me. I want you to come in and experience the support, the clarity, the like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking do this energy that radiates in this space. If you're ready to make gutsy moves, I'm ready to help you. I'm going to put the link to start your free trial in the show notes below, or you can go to LauraAura.com and sign up today. My handle on social, @LauraAura. Come send me a DM. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.